Welcome everyone to Transpicuous Views. It is March 26th already. I don't know how we're doing this. And I'm being joined by Daniel from POCKETNET. And we're going to talk about a brand new social media plus platform running on the blockchain. Daniel, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, we're Daniel and Danielle. We're just, we're matched.
It's a team. It was meant to be.
Exactly. So, Daniel, can you do me a favor? We're going to, like I said, we're going to keep this really short today. We're not going to get into a big discussion. Maybe we can do that down the road. I'd like you to give our viewers a little, what's your background? And a little bit of like, why POCKETNET? Why now?
Well, my background is actually very different from anything relating to POCKETNET. I worked in finance for many years. I did scientific research. I published a lot of scientific work, some popular work in finance. I build software for financial professionals. So I have experience kind of purely on the business/startup finance side. But over the years, I've been I'm always interested in new things, right? For many years, I was interested in genomics. I was doing a lot of genomics research, and that fascinated me. I'm a math guy, so to me, I tinker with things all the time. And then when the cryptocurrencies came about, it attracted my interest. But I am this kind of a person. I'm averse to speculation, and it felt to me like there was too much of that, and I think that speculation shielded the value of cryptocurrency and blockchain for me. So for years I stayed on the sidelines, and I looked at it, just read about it. It was interesting, but then some time ago, I would say probably a year and a half ago, or close between a year and a half and a year ago, I started noticing some trends regarding free speech. And being a risk manager and also kind of trying to be logical about it, I just took them to a logical conclusion. And to me, it seemed like the trend was that it's going to get really, really bad. Okay, and I was born in the Soviet Union, and I know what kind of communist censorship is like, and it started to feel a little bit like that, right? When there are too many things you're not supposed to say. There's all these reasons to ban people. Whether you agree with them or disagree, that's a different story, right? And so that led me to actually put together all of the things that I've learned over the years. Both being in finance and also math. Blockchain is something beautiful. Mathematically, it's a beautiful creation of Satoshi Nakamoto. So any mathematician it appeals to. This idea came to me, POCKETNET, right? Why do we have to have a social network that's centralized? Because centralized social networks have a problem. They give you great value in the beginning, and then they take it away. And then basically, at first, they're very generous. They actually work at a loss. And they could be they looked at it like philanthropies. They do it for a good cause, but inevitably they tighten the screws and they start extracting more money. And one of the ways they extract their money is by exploiting personal data. And they also get into all this censorship because they get so much power, they kind of don't know what to do with it. And then they realize, oh, we could just shut down people that we don't like. So all these things come together for me. When I looked at blockchain, I don't look at a currency per se. Now, I love Bitcoin. I think it's phenomenal, but I think that's only one small application.
Yeah.
When I look at a blockchain, I look at an ideal platform, a ledger that allows us to actually agree on things and create anything without a central server. And so for us, that's why we created POCKETNET. I worked on it in my spare time. I have a full-time job, I, I'm wearing these glasses. These are yellow tint glasses. This is not like a fashion statement. My eyes are shot because I worked 18-hour days for months and months. So if like I blink so much that it would be distracting, that's why I wear these. So we worked in our spare time with a bunch of enthusiasts, but pretty well qualified enthusiasts, I would say. And we built this tool where we said, what could we build without a point of centralization? Let's do it open source, no corporation, no central server. That was kind of our axioms from which we build this thing. At first, we said that's impossible. We said, well, let's just do it. Let's go with the flow. Let's try it. See what it comes out to. And we played with it. And at some point, we realized, oh, wow, this could really work. Because there's actually, at this point, there are so many different open source technologies that if you know what you're doing, you can solve many problems by combining them.
Yep.
And that's what happened. And we started this beta test, kind of, it was unassuming. We don't have a marketing budget. We didn't do an ICO. We don't have these, millions of dollars. That's kind of contrary to what we do. So we just got the word out. And all of a sudden, we have thousands of visitors. People are like basically demanding this product. We have like the most, people write poetry about Pocket. You've seen it. You're on it. You post great stuff. People write poetry about PocketNet. I'm like, this has only been a few weeks of a beta test. So here we are.
Well, you know what I'm going to point out the one thing. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to say the evil name on my books, and that is Steam it. A lot of people went over to, I tried Steam it. I went over, I tried to grab a lot of the people who I was involved with and get them onto Steam it. And Steam it, unfortunately, is very convoluted. It's not easy. Even to publishing things, you had to use special code bits and pieces to make something a bold, to make something italicized. For a header, you had to go and memorize all this coding. And for the vast majority of people, they're not coders. They're not used to that kind of a usage. The thing I liked about PocketNet, the moment I got on, the moment I used it, it was like, oh, okay, well, right here. Oh, look, click. Oh, post. I didn't even have to put a hashtag when I tagged it. I didn't even have to put the hashtag. I could just put a word in it, and it just took it anyway. It's simple. It works. It doesn't need a massive amount of a learning curve to get onto PocketNet and actually just start scrolling through, liking posts, enjoying reading. Where right at this moment you're in the beta. You're like you said, you've only really just launched how many weeks ago?
Probably 6 weeks ago. We started very slowly. We had a handful of users and just wanted to see where it breaks, and because it's such a novel concept.
Yeah.
But right now it doesn't even feel like a beta platform based on users.
No, it
users
doesn't.
treat it like a live thing. Yeah.
It does not feel it. That's what I'm saying. It's simple to use. It flows in the way that you would hope it to flow, as a finished product, not just something in simple beta. What's going to be next? What's, like, I know you guys are developing, and like I'm sending you messages going, we could really use some groups, or we could really use the ability to comment here and there. What's going to be some of the next steps you'll be doing, or that you're working on now?
We have incredibly ambitious plans, especially now that we saw poetry about PocketNet. I mean, literally, I get these posts like, I just found this. It's 4 a.m. I have to go to work tomorrow, but I don't want to leave. When you read something like that after 14 months of just incessant hard work, when you have no weekends, it's amazing to read that. And thank you for the usability comments. I mean, that's so great to hear, because for blockchain is this very complex thing, right? There's like enigma, and people like this. They like to hide, you won't understand it, it's rocket science, and to some degree it is. But our goal is to make it so that people don't notice it, right? The best thing is the best things in life, like health or sleep, sleep or something, you don't notice, it just happens. And so that was our goal. We put a lot of work into usability, that if somebody engineer looks at it on the back end, I would hope that they would say, wow, these guys did an amazing job.
Yeah.
But that's not enough. We wanted to make it easy. So where do we go from here? And all along, we had very big plans. So the next steps are obviously group chats and groups. They're not so easy to build. Everything we build, you can like the effort that it takes to build Facebook, you can multiply by 10, because whenever you build without a central server, things get difficult.
Oh, I imagine.
You have to get around things, and you have to store things on the blockchain and check, and because it has to run with these nodes. But once you build it, it's easier to run in a sense, because it's more effort up front, but it's easier for the community. Okay, so groups are definitely coming. That's a big thing. But there's something much bigger that we're doing. Okay, much bigger is, first of all, we're building a whole messenger into this. Okay.
Ooh, okay,
there are some great messengers, right? You have WhatsApp and Telegram. Now, WhatsApp is sold to Facebook now. That's kind of my dirty word. And for 19 billion nonetheless. And that was supposed to be a privacy-oriented platform. But,
wow,
that was one of the reasons we didn't do a corporation. No matter how nice we think we are, how freedom-oriented we are, the corporation has its own logic. If somebody writes a $19 billion check to the corporation, it takes it. That's the nature of a corporation.
Yep.
So no matter what you do. So there's also Telegram, right? Telegram is a great messenger. It is to some degree, decentralized and everything, but it's still there. It has points of centralization. It's still a corporation. It has central servers. We're building a messenger without that completely. But the big thing about it is it's built into POCKETNET. So you have all this flow of a social network that you've seen, that people should go and POCKETNET that app and just try. Create your private cryptographic key and try the flow. It flows. It's easy. But then you build in messaging, private messaging that's encrypted end to end. Nobody can read it because the encryption keys are on your PC. But not only that, it doesn't even go through a server. It goes peer to peer. That's the difficult part. So
and that's a major piece. That is something I say all the time. For example, I use Messenger. I terrible to admit, but I do use Messenger. And people will say, well, I'll just send you. And I'm like, not on Messenger. Don't send me the information. I don't want, no, like, and I'll say, come over to Zoom, for example, what we're using, because I can encrypt it. And so like, you don't give personal information over these services, because it's not safe. It's hackable, and they're spying. Everyone is watching what's going on.
Yeah, and even if they're not, the centralization is still is still a threat for privacy. From our standpoint, we're doing it because in the social network, it just makes sense to have. Yeah. It makes sense to have it all in one place. At some point, what we've done is the difficult thing. I think we built easy to use fully decentralized platform with no centralized server or anything. That's the first part. Now, when the users are there, it just makes sense to have a messenger there. It's just easier than to say, okay, now let's talk in Telegram, however good that is. Okay. Yeah. The next step after that is basically crypto store. We wanna create ability for people to sell for crypto. Ooh. And we're going to be integrating other cryptocurrencies. There's Pocketcoin, our token. We're going to be integrating other cryptocurrencies so people can sell. And also we're integrating advertising. Now the advertising is massive. It's going to be, think of it, Google AdWords, but without the evil part. Okay. So, right. Google had a motto, don't be evil, once upon a time, but that's been gone for years now. So why is Google AdWords popular? You go in there, you enter some keywords, and you can do some advertising, right? Or same thing with Facebook. It's really popular. The problem with those platforms is privacy, right? You have to give up a lot of privacy to actually do that. But with us, it's different. And the privacy is one problem. The other problem on those platforms is over time, they take more and more of the revenue to themselves.
Oh, yes.
So mathematically, platforms will tend to reach a level where all the community, the creators, are on a subsistence level. In other words, to give them just as enough to not leave.
Yep.
Yeah, to suck them in. And yeah. So with us, it's different. Everybody, like you're blogging, you're getting your followers. When we release this ad platform, you'll be part of this direct marketplace, we call it, direct ad marketplace, where Any advertiser could go in and say, do a search based on hashtags that you use, the public data, not private data,
Yep.
based on topics that you cover. They can look at your audience because on the blockchain it's anonymous, but I mean it's pseudonymous, right? But they can see what your audience is, how active it is, what tags they use, and they can just click and select, Danielle and a bunch of others that fit to the profile, and they could offer you to advertise something on their channel. Now this will happen with the cryptocurrency lingo. It's called multi-signature transaction, essentially. Right. What they're going to do is they're going to pay you some pocket coin for advertising, and they're going to offer you to advertise, but it's not final. You still have to approve it. You will have a portal in your POCKETNET where you go in and say, oh, I have 10 offers to advertise. Let me see. Can I advertise that? Can I stand behind that?
Yep.
Can I agree to advertise that? Or
giving us the ability to say, yeah, no, I'm not letting Monsanto advertise on my crap.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
Not going to happen.
So you review the ads that are offered to you,
yeah,
and then you decide which ones are good, and obviously you have your rate of, but only through Pocket Coin. That's kind of the system token value. And then when you say, I approve, magic happens. This multi-signature transaction gets accepted into the blockchain, and two things happen simultaneously. You get paid, and their ad posts on your channel. Okay, what this means is very important. It's completely trustless. That you don't have to trust the advertiser, and the advertiser doesn't have to trust you. Maybe you could say, okay, pay me first, and I'll run the ad. Then they pay you, and they have to chase you down because you're pseudonymous. Same thing the other way. You can run the ad and then see if you get the money. Trustless means that both things happen simultaneously. You as a blogger, a content creator, get paid, and the content gets published at the same time. And we're building this really nice platform for aggregating all the bloggers, so that if somebody comes in with $100,000 budget, let's use the dollar terms, right? But it's going to be a pocket coin. We have to. They can pick 50 bloggers just based on hashtags, and they can do it all at once. So it's really decentralized AdWords, if you will, that will create immense amount of value. Because look, if you're on Facebook and you've been there all these years, like I did an interview with Dan Dix, I mean, he had like 350,000 followers, right? You have this huge following that you build up, and then you can be just shut down with no explanation. That's scary. That's scary for free speech. That's scary for your livelihood. On POCKETNET, that cannot happen. We have strict rules for policing content. I'll get into that a little bit later. But but you cannot
definitely go there.
Right? You cannot be banned. And you're basically, if you build up these followers, that's it. You can advertise to them because that's your work.
Yeah.
And you can advertise them and get paid directly. Facebook and Google, they will take a huge cut. And over time, they'll take bigger and bigger cut. In POCKETNET, the cut is algorithmic. It's only transaction fee of the pocket coin. The actual pocket, there's no corporation, so it cannot take your money. Basically, you advertise, you get paid.
Yep, and I like that, because it's, as we know, what, people like myself, people who put out articles like Dan Dix, you try. So, for example, I was demonetized by YouTube in 2016. So none of my videos am I allowed to put monetization on. My original blog that I had back then, same thing, got demonetized because of the content I put out and political viewpoints that I sometimes like to point out. It's about the control and the sense of control as well. And that when it comes to advertising, of being able to pick who you want to be an association with, like a name association with. That's really important when you're talking about the kind of content. No, none.
My kids' cartoons, and I see ads that the children should not be seeing.
Don't even get me started. Literally, don't get me started. So I want to talk, one of the other aspects to this is, and we've already mentioned Steemit. One of the biggest downfalls for the platform Steemit is the fact that it became extremely top-heavy. You had whales, and the whales control everything. And the way it's rolled out now is basically, it is impossible to actually get anything that you're doing seen, to get it read. And for people like myself, I don't do this for if we get some money out of it, hey, that's lovely. But I don't do it for the money. I do it to get information out, to put my research out, and to try and help people make educated decisions. When you go to a platform where no one can see you because you don't have the power, the steam power, etc. So how is POCKETNET different? What will you guys do to prevent that from happening?
Well, first of all, I should say, maybe to my shame, I'm not as familiar with Steemit. I know it. I know Steemit. I used it, but I haven't dug into the algorithms of how they distribute Steam and why it became so top. I hear that constantly. Why it
The
became so
whales.
top heavy. Yeah. In our system, there are a couple of ways to prevent that, and that's a very serious problem. One way is that our emission of the coin depends on the number of users. So in a sense, it's like what could be called loosely algorithmic stablecoin. That
Okay.
means that it's not like Bitcoin. Bitcoin was issued in huge quantities in the beginning. Everybody who got in early are whales, right? And then everybody else had to fight for scraps. And I think that's a little bit problematic. I understand where the
Yeah.
ideology of Bitcoin creators came from, digital gold and all, but it was overdone, right? And that created a problem. With our coin, Pocket Coin is a little bit different. It basically, the more users we have, the more coins will be issued. So even if you come in late, there will be some chance to get those coins, and they'll be given on sign up, but they're also given for posts.
Right.
So there is not this idea, we have Bitcoin emission algorithm to start with, but it doesn't stop. If the number of users grows a great deal, the emission continues. The reason for that also is that, first of all, to have fewer whales, right, and not so much concentration, but also the
Yes.
reason for that is to make the pocket coin more economically viable. Because if you think what happens with Bitcoin, because it has a finite supply and it's been issued long ago, many of these whales hold on to it. It goes through these amazing cycles, right? It will shoot up and then go down, and repeatedly it fluctuates. If we did that with Pocket Coin, nobody would advertise. If you think I'm an advertiser, I want to advertise, I have Pocket Coin. Today it grows 200%. Then it drops 500%. I mean, there's just no way to plan a budget. It's not economical. Whereas we built into the Pocket Coin an idea that with number of Pocket Coins will never be fewer than the number of users.
Perfect.
So if the number of users is 50 million, 100 million, the number of tokens will grow. Okay. If it stops growing, then the number of tokens stops growing. So it's a stable coin. Now it's not a stable coin in the sense that it's pegged to $1 or anything. We don't want to do that, but it's
Good.
algorithmically, it's not prone to boom bust sequence, right? And that's what we want to avoid. But because there's more coins that will be issued over time, the other people that will come in a year later, 2 years later, they will have a chance to earn those coins. The other thing is, I don't know how it works with Steemit, but we have a reward splitting that's 50-50 between the nodes and the content creators. And we have a block every minute. And in every minute, there are 25 people that could win. Okay,
Right.
that's a lot of wins if you count just like 24-hour period. So, and they win based on likes that they get, kind of ratings. We have 5-star rating instead of like, because we believe that it's more nuanced, right? The material may not be
And
just like or
it's
dislike.
those stars are worth the same across the board. You can't. This is the problem with Steemit. Is, for example, when you first sign up, your like might be worth less than a penny.
Oh, so you're
It's
saying they
worth
have
less
like,
than
if
a
you have
penny.
steam
So
power,
when
then
you
your like is worth more?
and the more steam power you get, the more your like is worth. So it's great. You get a whale likes your post, and it gives you $20. But
No,
you can have
no.
everyone on the base
In our
ground,
system,
and they vote and vote
high
and vote, and
rating
it's
is a,
worth pennies.
yeah, I think that's bad design. Now, I don't have many bad things to say about Steemit because I don't know it, but this is bad design. In our platform, the ratings are counted equally.
Exactly.
So if you and plus the other thing that I really like that people got away from, we have 3 different feeds. You may have, I don't know if you noticed today we released it. There
I
is
haven't
the
had a chance to
the
play yet.
the full feed, all posts. Then there's, we call this pocket, your pocket. That's the people you follow. So
Yep.
just really people you count on. And then there are top posts. Now all posts is purely chronological. Now what that does is, of course, Reddit and all those platforms, they have these very sophisticated algorithms to try to surface the best to the top. And I think there's some value to that, but there's a real downside to that. And I know math, I know how these algorithms work. they are very predictable. They will always push. Will always push a certain kind of content to the top, and that may not be. What will happen is it's all good content, but there's just too much of it at the top, too much of similar
Yep.
stuff. Whereas we intend to keep one feed purely chronological. So if you just came in and you're one of millions of users, you will have your 5 or 1 minute of fame, right? But if there are millions of people looking at this stuff, even having your post for 30 seconds in the feed, that's going to do something.
Yep.
And so in that way, we're much more democratic because you will be able to get your posts seen. And if they're really good, you will have your chance, even if you come in later. Of course, if you come in early, you will earn more coins. But that is not going to make your ratings better, right? If you stop putting out quality stuff, or you're like, my likes, right? Because I already been posting and stuff, and I earn coins, and we run nodes. My likes, my ratings are not counted any more than somebody who just came in.
No. And that's what I immediately, the very first moment I played, the first day I played on POCKETNET was exactly, your vote is the same as my vote, is the same for someone who signs up 5 minutes from now, their vote.
Yep.
And there's an equality, and I don't mean because equality gets thrown around, but there is an evenness to the playing field there that is fair, because it means then you go out and you do your work. As you make posts, you will get more followers, therefore you will be seen that much more. It's not about voting bots and spamming, et cetera, because that's when it just gets ridiculous.
There is an initial period where when you log in, you have fewer opportunities to post and rate, just so that we test your behavior. And then we built another system called Antibot, where if your pattern, and the beauty of it is it's the same for everybody. It's transparent open source code, but it will weed out bots. It's actually possible to look at how people behave. If they do certain things, they repeatedly upvote, same people, or they upvote each other, or they complain about each other. There are ways to see that.
Yes.
And so we have one of the most difficult things over the last few months was to build this system in place, because we knew that people will try to abuse it, and so far it hasn't happened. I mean, the crowd on POCKETNET is amazing. I can't get away from there. I stopped reading anything else. I could just read. There's all kinds of opinions and chat and all, but there's a great crowd. Well, we know people will try to abuse it, and we have very strong defenses against
Good.
that.
Fantastic. You've had a really long day, and so have I. So we're gonna. This was our short, quick discussion.
Let's do it again. Yeah.
We'll do it again, and we'll get into more of the deeper stuff.
I can do it. It's okay. I love.
I want to talk about Article 11 and 13 that just passed in the EU, but we're not going to get into that tonight, because even myself, I need to do some more research on this and how this is going to affect people like me. But I want to thank you, Daniel, for taking the time to talk to us. This was fun, and yeah, we'll get together again and talk more as you get more POCKETNET rollout stuff. We'll have to get back together again and talk about what's new and new.
We roll stuff every day, but there's significant stuff every week. And for your listeners, remember that we have an amazing promotion now, because that if you sign up right now, you get 5 Pocket Coin. That's not going to last more than a few weeks. Yeah, it's going to keep going down. We're going to give people coins to sign up, but we can't give 5 Pocket Coin to too many people. So you should go ahead and sign up, check out the flow, post your stuff. We get these posts, hey, I'm from Bulgaria. Hey, I'm from Burma. Hey, I'm
actually enjoying that. I've been watching POCKETNET. Like you say, like people are putting out these little posts, and they're like, I'm down here, and I'm in Kenya, and I'm over here, and I'm in Latvia, and you're like, this is fantastic when we see it filtering through, not just the big English-speaking countries, which happens sometimes. So I'm really enjoying watching it spread globally.
One more point. We are releasing in about 2 to 3 months, releasing different language versions.
Oh, cool.
So at first we're going to do French, German, Russian, and Mandarin. But that's a lot of work. And to listeners and to everybody, if you want POCKETNET in your language, write to us and help us translate, because we don't have a big budget. We kind of pay out of pocket, pardon the pun, for this. And write to support@pocketnet.app. Support@pocketnet.app. Okay. If you have some language that I didn't mention, translate it for us, and you'll have your own language POCKETNET.
There you go. Perfect. Well, thank you again for being with us, Daniel. This was lovely. Guys, go out and sign up for POCKETNET. And my UU group, I've been telling you, this is our opportunity to get in there and kind of, get the platform really,
not like
really
Steam
moving.
It. I mean, you won't be a whale necessarily, but you will certainly be better off if you just do it early.
Exactly.
Plus, you'll be part of building the thing. I mean, you tell us what to do, and we'll build you a feature.
Build it, and they will come, right? Awesome. Thank you very much, Daniel, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon.
Awesome. Bye.